Salutations, salutations, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Hopefully y'all able to make it into the building. Come into the room.
Come on, no.
All right, Tony, I work alone. Let me do this. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Thank you for the harmony. All right, so yeah, so that voice you heard just now is my next guest that's going to come up, and he's going to be very candid up in here about his story, from his upbringing to his career as a mental health counselor as well as an author, and he also is going to give us more on his life. Dealing with cerebral palsy as well. And then we are going to get into some mess at the end, you know. He wants
Yes.
to address some things. We're going to address some things, address a lot of things. I'm going to just kind of establish a backstory behind all of the feuds that this guest has been in and all these beefs that he has with so many different people. So we're going to get into that. And I just want to make sure I give you full disclosure that this is his side. He's sharing his perspectives. He want to clear the air. He wants to address a lot of things, and this is coming from him. And so, what anything that is said from this guest is not necessarily that of the host. So, don't attack the host. Don't kill the host. I'm, just allowing a platform, and I'm playing a neutral ground here. So, I just want to make sure that I provided that disclaimer before we get started. So, without further ado, I'm going to present to you Tony Sykes, aka Rollon Rebel. Here we go. Roll on, Rebel. Yes.
Hello, hello,
Hey, all
hello,
right, all right. What is going on with you, Roll on, Rebel?
hello. It's been a minute. Thank you for bringing me on.
Yes, thank you for being here and sharing your story, sharing just about everything. So we're going to cover some stuff. We're going to cover some things. So I hope you guys have your drinks ready, popcorn, whatever snacks you have. You know, because we're going to get into some things. But before we get into some things, I want to get into your backstory a little bit, Tony, Roland Rebel. I want to make sure that we cover your upbringing because you have, it's different from most. You have a unique story. You know,
Mhm.
so I just want to get more into that. So you were born and raised in St. Louis, yes?
Yes, I was born and raised in St. Louis. I am the youngest of three siblings.
Oh, you youngest.
Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I have a brother, a sister, Deborah. I have a brother, Darren, who's now deceased, and then it's myself. I also found out later on that I also have a brother and sister on my father's side who I never met.
You never met.
Um,
Oh, I,
my dad's side, matter of fact, I've never met anybody from my dad's side of the family other than my dad. So I don't know the other part of me,
wow.
which
So, and why
was
is
the
that? Like,
intro to my book.
okay, got you. Because I wanted to ask you. So you was born into a single parent household. Like, how did that start
Mhm.
with you? Um,
So, and this was very interesting. I decided to put this in my book, but I was born through an affair.
got you.
My mother and father, they kind of got together because they worked together because my mother was a bus driver for a company in St. Louis and my dad was an operator. And so here I am as a result of that.
Wow. Okay. Oh, so maybe that's why you haven't got to know your other siblings. So did you grow up with your father? Did you have a relationship with him?
No, I'm almost 44 years old as of Monday. I've only seen my father maybe twice before he
Mm,
passed.
mm.
And we have a volatile relation. Well, not a volatile relationship, but it wasn't the
Good.
best relationship.
Mm.
It was kind of like you're there.
And
So,
why do you think that was? Like, did you ever address it with him? Did you have that conversation?
partly because from what I was told via him through my mother, because I witnessed a lot of kind of arguments between my mother and father. It was because of one, me being in a wheelchair, and two, me
Mm.
being later gay, of course.
Yes.
which that can play a lot into one's psyche. But as you can see, I've kind of manifested through that and kind of worked through my own demons, which plays into kind of the persona you see today, which we'll get into a little bit later.
Right, sure. Yeah, because I just wanted to kind of get because I kind of figured that, especially when you say that you was a product of an affair, and then the fact now, no offense, but I want to ask you this. Did anyone in your family or anybody around you ever felt like your condition was karma in regards to that affair? I'm just curious. Did they ever feel like that was karma?
Um, it's interesting you asked that question because my father alluded that to my mother in a sense.
Mm.
And so as I've grown up, I've come to understand that my mother had some guilt in blaming herself for that. So it wasn't said to her by any of my family members. It was kind of said from my father's perspective.
That's kind of harsh. I mean that, and so did he say it in a form of him having some type of accountability because he was the one that was a willing participant in the fail, or he was just blaming her,
No, just blaming her.
just blaming her only.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which it kind of plays into a part which I never talked about in my book, but it's part of the reason that she chose the religion that she chose because part of her decision, she felt like she made a mistake on my behalf because of the decisions that she made. So I believe, I haven't said this to her, but I believe part of her choosing to be a Jehovah's Witness was because of that.
And why you feel that way? And I'm still listening to you, but I gotta charge my light. But I'm listening.
Because she's never really said this to me. We've kind of talked about it. She's had some mistakes, which I'll never put that out there because that's my mom's business, that she regrets doing. And so she felt like I was her rainbow baby. But, you know, as we all grow up and grow and, manifest into the people that we are, we kind of regret some of the decisions that we make. So I believe that she kind of felt, well, is what I've done kind of my mistake or is it something that God wanted to teach me? And I feel like I wouldn't be the person that I am if it wasn't for my mother. I'll say that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that because yeah, because I always wondered that because I know a lot of people tend to say that your karma it may not be directly towards you, but it will come down on your children. So that's why I wanted to ask that question and find out, how your mother reflected on that. So I know that she does have some type of remorse, and I know she probably felt a lot of guilt. So how did she get through that other than joining the Jehovah Witness faith? How else did she
Um,
cope with that?
we have a small family circle, but a large family circle. If it wasn't for my aunts and uncles and the family around us to support her, they played a big part in that. So we grew up on love and supporting, um, respecting one another and helping each other out. So she got through it through our family circle.
Yeah, so let me ask you, like, being that you mentioned about your father not being present, so you look to your brothers as a brother, as a more of a father figure, because I think you mentioned before that you and your brother had some differences as well.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did. We did. Like I said, my brother was 13 years my senior,
Mm,
so of course he
mhm.
grew up. He was grown by the time I grew up. So it was kind of like you became the golden child.
He
You
was
can do
grown.
no wrong.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Mhm.
So it was kind of like I can't stand you, but nobody can talk about my brother.
Mm.
What I've kind of learned through, just the introspection of writing the book, and I kind of got this closure before he passed away, and I hope I don't get emotional saying this, that, even though he was hard on me, that he really paid attention to what I did. And so, part of our relationship was kind of crazy because my brother was addicted to drugs. And so
Mm.
I could I had a hard time accepting who the addict was versus who the person was. So my journey was, this is not something that your brother would do, but this is what the addict would do. And so
Mm,
it took for me to understand that, and I'm sorry that it took me until his deathbed to understand that. So it's kind of like when I love hard. And so when we talk about these beefs,
mm.
this is part of the reason why this is who I am at the core, because I really love and care about people, and when people don't respect me, I feel kind of slapped in the face.
Got you. No, I totally understand that. So I want to get more into what was it like for you growing up, especially with your condition and how your mom your primary caregiver, like did she care for you, like did you have to go back and forth to the doctors, and how was that like, and then balancing you going to school and just all of that, how did you manage all of that?
That was very interesting.
Mm,
Like I said, my mother was a full-time bus operator. So when my mother wasn't around, my sister, who was my older sister, was kind of my caretaker. So if it wasn't my mother, it was my sister or my aunt who was caring for me. It was either the three of them taking care of me, looking after me, helping me do the daily task and going to physical therapy and going to the doctor and things like that. So a normal day in my life, like I said, I grew up in St. Louis. Um, I was born with cerebral palsy at birth. I was actually 2 pounds 1 ounce, actually.
mm, mm,
I spent maybe 2 or 3 months in the hospital, and then after that, it was kind of touch and go. After that, kind of trying to build up the lung functions and all of that. So, once you get out of the hospital, you have to go through physical therapy, occupational therapy, and things like that. One of the things that I can say that I regret now growing up is that I was kind of being stubborn, and I was told that, I could have better functioning in my legs. But when you get comfortable with
yeah,
something as a person with a
yes,
disability, it's this is something that I'm comfortable with, so this is what I'm gonna do. You know,
right,
I've
right.
always been the person to be able to walk, because growing up and being in school, I walked from class to class. I walked to get on the bus. I walked to, do certain things, but the strength plays a factor. And so by me not doing my exercises or me walking on the walker and becoming dependent upon the wheelchair as I got older in middle school and junior high, that plays a factor. When I was 9 years old, I moved to what's now a suburb in St. Louis called Jennings, which I was the first person that was in the district that was in a wheelchair. So
Mm,
I was the first person to have putting ramps and things in schools, because people weren't used to that. So I had to be the
wow,
first to do that. I had to be the
wow.
first to, put
So
elevators and things
so you
in
made history
ways. So I'm, a trendsetter.
there.
And that plays a part in a lot of my, upbringing. So one thing I learned from school, and shout out to the people that I went to high school with, shout out to Jennings High School.
Yes.
One thing that they taught me, and I'll never forget it, is they never treated me like I was a person with a
Okay,
disability.
because I was gonna ask you, like, how was you treated? Was you ever bullied, teased?
Yeah, I
Mm,
was all that. I was
oh,
all that. So when you can get your ass beat too, excuse my language, they
mhm,
meant that.
mhm,
They meant that. And
mhm,
that's where that spirit of I'm not scared of nobody comes from.
mhm, mhm.
Because I learned, I done got pulled out of my chair, I done got pushed down hills, and
Oh, wow. Oh,
all of
no.
that. So it's kind of like, hmm,
Mm,
I ain't dead. I'm strong. I'm
right,
persevering.
right.
So that's just
Yeah,
a part of who I am.
that's tough though. That's tough. Yeah. And so, when we went through those things, like, did you have a support system that would advocate on your behalf? Go to the school and address these issues.
Um, no. It was just more so I just learned to deal with it.
Mm,
I just, but I want to talk about one thing that I kind of talked about in my book that really was a pivotal moment for me, because I said that I used to ride the school bus to school, and I remember, um, and I could talk about it now, being maybe 9 or 10 years old and being molested,
Mm,
and it kind of made me wonder about, am I really gay? Am I really not gay? What's the
right.
issue? All of
Mm,
that. And so going back to all the things that I had been through, I held on to that, and I kind of, had a colorful imagination to kind of cope with a lot of what was going on. And
got
so I remember kind of being like 13, and this is another revelation that I had that I talked about in my book. Um, Us having a neighbor and me being molested by a neighbor. One of the things that was pivotal during this time was the neighbor was also molesting another neighbor down the block. So I remember, um, once he went to jail a couple years later, and he forgave me for that. Um, that's when I realized the power of forgiveness.
Well, you say he forgave you. What do you mean? What you mean?
Cause, well, not he forgave me. He said, "I'm sorry" to me, and I forgave him. I'm sorry.
Oh, oh, okay.
And there's a story behind the name Tony. Tony is actually my middle name.
Hmm.
And Tony is who I created to escape from who I was. Let me explain that. My
Yes, please.
real first name is Derek, but I was ashamed of who he was because of all of the things that happened to me. So I didn't
Mm,
want to introduce people to that because of all the pain and the trauma that I experienced. That was kind of a new person, if you will. So I kind of realized from that point, after I got the apology from the neighbor, that this is who I'm going to show up as, and if a person is really genuine with me, that's who I'm going to show
so,
them the real
so
me.
he was never, he was never brought to justice. Like you never, he was never
He wa-
accounted for.
he he went to jail.
Okay.
I don't know what happened after that because I kind of lost touch, which that plays a part into the the activity that I engaged in, because I was trying to find a way to escape.
Hope. Hmm. Right. Yeah. So I understand that. So, and I know as you gotten older, that's because I know a lot of people who deal with SA. They tend to become more promiscuous after that. So I understand that. Um, why am I hearing an echo?
I have no idea.
Oh, it just happened just a second ago. So I don't know whether you did something on your end.
Mm-mm.
Um,
You still hear it?
no, not now. Okay, it's gone. Yeah. So how did you cope with that? Like, so how did you deal with that? I know you said that the power of forgiveness, and I know forgiveness alone, especially for something like that, is a major process. So how did you like? What was that process like for you? What did that look like to you? The process of forgiveness and getting through that trauma.
Um, I can't say I actually figured that out until I got older. Um, and a little like humor and a like history. I figured out that I wanted to be a therapist when I was 17. And so one of my goals in life was to heal other people. And so part of my journey has been, spread light and cheer to other people because that's the way I'm going to heal. So it wasn't until I started getting therapy myself that I learned to heal.
Got you. And so, oh yeah, so you're saying that that was one of the reasons why you wanted to become a therapist. Let me go back a little bit. You said that you went your high school. You said went to Jennings High School,
Hmm.
and so I wanted to get more into that experience. Especially in high school, because I want to know what that was really like for you. Was you a part of any clubs, extracurricular activities? How was your grades? Like, how was high school for you?
Um, and I laugh about this experience. Like I said, freshman year, I remember like eating lunch by myself because
Mm.
of the accessibility piece of it. But I remember, because at first, if you were to pull out some old pictures, and I wish you had to pull some out because there were some on the page. I had like this Gumby cut. I was like a
Oh,
little
so
skinny
now they
kid.
make me wanna look for it now.
I was in ROTC. There's a picture of me in ROTC with my ROTC uniform. I was the nerd. It wasn't until I got maybe until like 10th grade that I started becoming the popular kid in the Spanish club and the drama club, you
Are you
know.
okay? Are
Uh-huh.
you are you fluent in Spanish?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
am.
Oh.
So I, use the pain that I have and the humor that I have to become the person that I am. Um, Also on top of that, um, being the person that I am, we also get the fighter. I was also the person that was in trouble. You never knew what you can get from me on a mixed day.
Oh, okay, so what I mean, so why is that? Did you like, why you just feel the need to have your fences up, and why was that?
It was more so of I had to learn, okay, you're the only person in a wheelchair. People are gonna try you. So it's just you have to be on guard at all times.
Mm, and
But
that's how you felt at all times?
but believe it or not, I was also a ladies' man. So like I said,
You was a ladies' man.
it just
Ah,
yeah, it just
what?
never. There are some pictures I would have to pull it out where people would be sitting. That picture right there, that that picture right there. How did you find that?
See, you telling about digging up stuff, so I was like, "Okay, let me do that, okay."
Um,
Mm,
there was pictures of people of girls sitting on my lap.
mm,
Just stuff like high school was an experience, but it was also horror, a beautiful nightmare. I'll say.
beautiful nightmare. So, tell me, like, how did that come about? Beautiful nightmare. What was beautiful about it, and what was the nightmare?
The beauty part of it was that a beautiful butterfly began to emerge that was me.
Okay.
Um and so once I became comfortable with who I was as a person and as a human being and as a teenager, then I could kind of relax. So the more I became to get into activities, oh, there's another thing. There's another picture because one of the things I used to participate in school talent show. Because
Oh,
one of the hidden talents that I have that people don't know is that I can sing. I don't know why I said this because I know you're gonna make me sing.
yeah,
But
oh, yes, 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 yes,
um
yeah, mhm.
so
I mean,
there's
when you say sing, like, sing as far as, like, like, "Woo," like, I mean, just sing, or you just yang around the house?
if I really put my mind into it, I can sing. I just be hemming and hawing. But I really can
Mm,
sing if I really
mhm.
you know, but up and I want you to maybe find this. There's a picture of me in like maybe the fourth or the fifth grade in a school talent show. I think I posted it where I was doing crisscross jump. And
Oh, really?
yeah, that
Are you getting
was,
rap?
and that was a remember I said earlier that me and my brother didn't have the best relationship, but that was one of the moments where he and I connected. You know,
Oh, during
he
that
and,
time? How so?
uh-huh, because he was a lot of things, but he would support me in a talent show.
Oh,
He's
really?
he's a comedian too. So he would kind of laugh at me, but then kind of give me tough skin when I needed it. So,
Hmm.
it's just who I am.
Okay. And oh wow, I wish I could have seen, like, I wish there was a video that would, we emerge, from that, What did you win actually?
Um, I think it was a trophy. I don't even have that trophy anymore.
Okay.
Um, oh wow.
Mhm.
I think that picture I think I might have been in the 11th grade there, 10th grade.
Mhm.
Cause I was homecoming on homecoming court, prom court. I was really, like I said, I was really
Oh,
popular.
oh, you. Okay. Now let me ask you this. Again, and it's not taken away from your achievement, not taken away from popularity, but do you think that it was some, people that might be might have patronized you because of your disability, or it was genuine? Was it genuine interaction?
Um, During that time, I think it was genuine interaction
Okay.
because I was told, and I'm still told to this day, I kind of did a poll when I was writing my book, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and asked people that knew me in high school and college, and what are some of the things that you love about me? And they said, your bold personality, you're quick to tell people off, but you have a giving heart. So we know it's real, real recognize real. That's just me. So I think it was genuine. It wasn't until later on that I might have felt that people felt sorry.
Mm. So you did at some point, felt like there was some pity there. It just, to some
Hmm.
degree. Okay.
Right, right.
Got you. So let me ask you, so, see, they're telling you to sing. Yeah. So,
Maybe by the end of the
yeah,
interview, I
maybe.
will.
Yeah, well, okay, okay, we'll see about that. So, when you graduated from college, I mean, from high school, did you go straight into college, or did you take some time in
I
between?
went straight into college. Some would call me the professional student, because
Oh,
when
one
I
of those.
graduated, yeah,
Okay.
when I graduated from college, I mean, from high school, I went straight into college. I'm a graduate of Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. I got my bachelor's degree in sociology with an emphasis in employment relations, and
Mhm.
then I also got my bachelor's degree in psychology
Mm.
in 2006 and 2007, which that was a story because I double majored in both those things, but I got the degrees in two different places. It's a whole story behind
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, I can imagine. Okay, and then so psychology, and you said what was it? What was the other one? Sociology?
Yeah. And then after that, in 2009, I got my master's degree in mental health counseling. And then I became a licensed professional counselor in 2011. And I've been in the field since then.
Got it. And so, how fulfilling is it for you? Like, you mentioned that you wanted to do this. So now there's a difference between having a desire to pursue something and it being your purpose. Do you think are you fulfilling your purpose?
Yes, I do feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. What's interesting about this, it wasn't until I got this current job that I'm working now that I really feel like I'm sharing my purpose and really showing who I am. Because I've had plenty of jobs in the field of counseling that I'm working in. But when you have people saying, the story that you told with how you've been through things have really helped me, it really does something to you because being in this field can be emotionally draining. There are times when I don't have it to give it to you, but I'm giving it to you because I'm hurting inside. So it's just the reward of knowing that you can help somebody else and then trying to figure yourself out in the process.
Right. And how do you do that? Because I'm going to ask you about that. Like, kind of take me into your process. How do you prepare for each session? And do you have? And I'm sure that you have your own therapist because that therapists need therapy as well.
hmm
So,
I
mhm,
have my own therapist, and part of that came from um I became HIV positive in 2016, in April of 2016. So I'm coming up on my 10th anniversary. And what really was pivotal about this was how I found out.
mm,
I'll get into that in a second.
yes,
Matter of
yes.
fact, I'll get into it now.
The
Um,
bookmark it because I want to get into the therapy part and then we'll go kind of transition because I want to kind of make sure we go on like kind of a timeline here. So I
okay.
want to make sure. But
S- So being in being in therapy with my therapist and having a therapist that's non-biased, that doesn't know you, that really makes you see this is the person that you are, this is the person that you're showing me, cut that out. I'm thankful to my therapist, my old therapist, Miss Cheryl Nelson, because she really poured into me. She really gave to me when I felt like I didn't have anything. I felt like at some point in the career field of counseling, because of my disability, because of the lack of accessibility to jobs, that I wouldn't be able to fulfill the purpose. And at that point, I felt like I was going to give up and didn't want to be a therapist anymore.
Right, right.
And so it's just it's I'm grateful to have that experience with that therapist because she taught me that you have had experiences, you have had things that you can give to other people. Pull from your resources, pull from what you know, pull from the knowledge that you have in school. Don't give up because you're going to find your purpose. And I did find that purpose.
And I'm glad you did. So I want to ask you, did you, when you first started your career in this, did you get any pushback? Because once they see you in the wheelchair, there's going to be some toss. It's going to be some like, question, like question of your credibility or your ability to do this job or to provide the help that's needed to these patients. So or your clients. So did you receive any pushback?
It's interesting because a lot of the jobs in this field require you to go into people's homes. So part of the reason that I wasn't getting jobs is because
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
to go into people's homes. It
yes.
wasn't about the ability and the skill. It's okay, you have a disability. You can't do this. So here I am thinking, okay, I got this. I got all the skill, but here's the realization, you have a disability. You have to deal with it. So that was the pushback. And even working through agencies like vocational rehabilitation, who specifically work with people that have disabilities, telling you you're overqualified, you don't have the writing skills for this. These people are actually competing with me who have the same credentials as I have because they want the job. So, yeah, that's where the pushback comes from.
Okay. And so how do you provide assurance? So you're saying that you get more pushback from your peers than your clients? Is that what you're saying?
Hmm.
Okay. And so how do you overcome those obstacles? How do you overcome that pushback? How you overcome, you know,
So how I've learned to deal with it is even now with some patients that I have without going into detail, a lot of these people that I'm seeing, they're like, well, I've never had therapy before.
mhm,
So
mhm.
what I do is I say, well, just like we having a conversation, just talk to me. And so I'll learn the background, I'll get the information from them, and then we'll just talk about things that have influenced their lives. Uh, So I kind of give them a little bit of my backstory to ease into it. You can only say so much because you don't want to violate HIPAA and the boundaries and
Right,
things like that. So I
right.
get them comfortable enough to want to ask questions and how does this relate to, you know, what we're talking about. So I kind of have to use my personality and kind of a point of reference to get them to kind of ease back. And to answer your question, I used to work for St. Louis County Jail. I used to
Mm,
be a drug court mentor. One of the things that I used to do is I used to work with teenage boys, ages 11 to 17. And part of that was, being a mentor, going to play basketball with them, going to do whatever, knowing I'm in a wheelchair. So how do I cope with this? How do I get past this? Help them do things that they know how to do, build their confidence, you know, tell them what it was like to be me or what it would be like to be a young man. And so one of the things that was kind of a pivotal point for me before I moved to Atlanta in 2012 was I was in St. Louis, and I don't think I've ever told this story, I think. I was in St. Louis on the train, and I remember this young man say, "Hey, do you remember me?" And you don't think about some things you've done in the past. And he says, well, I remember when I was 17 years old, you kind of helped me stay out of jail because part of the job was these kids have misdemeanors and felonies or whatever. And he said, the words that you taught me and the story that you've given me has helped me be the person that I am. And now I'm off to college. That's
amazing.
that's how I knew that I was doing something right. So it's just being myself
Yes.
That's what's gotten me to the point that I've gotten to.
That is amazing, and when you hear those testimonials from, the people that you have countered, I think that's just makes it worth it. It makes it all worth it. So, I'm glad you was able to share that, you know, so, what made you decide to move to Atlanta, by the way?
So, um, in 2000, here's another thing. I have hidden gems here or there. So in 2012, 2013, I was getting a little bored with counseling, and I wanted to change. And
Mhm.
during that time, old Atlanta, I used to come here and I used to party a lot. And so I would come every weekend and go to the club and party and do all the things, go to Bulldogs,
Yeah.
like I do. And I fell in love with it. So I would travel back and forth for years on years and
What
years on
made you
top of years.
decide to travel back and forth to Atlanta? How did that come about?
I just wanted to. I just enjoyed the environment. I enjoyed the
You
culture.
just randomly decide to travel to Atlanta?
Mhm. Seeing shows like Housewives of Atlanta and Love
Oh,
and Hip Hop.
oh,
Oh, this is Black Hollywood. This is
okay,
where I want to be.
okay.
So, the last time that I traveled back and forth to Atlanta, I got hurt, and I got hurt because I have a bulging disc on my neck. One day, like I said,
Mm,
I can move. I have cerebral palsy. I was
mm,
transferring from my chair to the bathroom,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
forgot to
darn
turn
it.
the chair off. And so the chair flipped,
Yeah, I remember you told me
and
about
I
that,
flipped
yeah.
on my head.
Oof.
So that was a time where I went through a form of recovery because the doctor told me at that point, you're going to have surgery, you know,
Wow.
you're going to be out. So during that time, thanks to God, to my mother, she said, no, don't take that surgery because the surgery can make the cerebral palsy worse.
Oh, really?
I'm so glad that she advised me on it. I'm so grateful for my mother because had I took that surgery, I don't know what
You probably wouldn't
state
have
I
much,
would be in.
yeah, you probably have much less mobility.
Right.
Mm,
But what made me move to Atlanta was during that time I was down, I wrote a book, which is actually my first book. Not the one that you know of, but there's another book called Black Man's Guide to Graduate School.
okay,
Myself and six other people, we talked about our experience as black men in graduate school, and so that's how I decided to wanted to move to Atlanta because one of my dreams was to be a student at Clark Atlanta. So
okay,
while I was down at that time, I decided to apply to Clark Atlanta and got accepted, and that's what made me move to Clark Atlanta, which was a whole which to Atlanta to go to Clark Atlanta, which was a whole experience in itself.
and how so?
Because even though I love my HBCU, again, this was the point in time where your me being known that I have a disability came to the forefront because people weren't perceptive to accessibility and change and things like that. So again, here I am again once again in every situation that I'm in, I have to be a trendsetter. I have to be the one speaking for myself. And so that's when I realized that I was suffering from anxiety, panic attacks,
Mm,
and things like
mm,
that because
right,
I'm trying to get these people to understand, you know, I can do what I need to do in terms of performing in school. I just need the support and the help from the administration. No, we can't give this to you. You're relying on your disability. You're relying on, needing assistance. No, that's not what I need. I need for you to just give me what I need so that I can be the person that I need to be.
got it. And so, did you get what you needed?
No.
Mm,
Which led to further things, which led to anxiety attacks, panic attacks, and again, I found ways to cope. And I hope I don't cry saying this, but one of the ways that I learned to cope during this time was I started drinking. I
Mm,
started having excessive amounts of sex and things like that because here I am drowning and I don't know what to do.
got you.
Meanwhile, I'm being of service to other people, helping other people, watching other people get what they desire and what they deserve, and I don't get anything. So, which led to me, thank you for putting that up, which led to me, having excessive sex, which, like I said earlier,
Right, right,
led to the
right.
HIV diagnosis, which that was a story within itself, too, because one night I went to the hospital
Mm,
because there was a magnitude of events that happened before that. Um, what happened before that was I was told that I wasn't going to graduate. Like right before, days before that happened, because the school had accused me of plagiarism and all these other things
mm.
based off of me telling on someone else.
Ah, did that matter? Was that matter resolved? Like, did y'all, was that further investigation? Is it still going? Like, what's the status of that?
There was a 3-year investigation that went on alongside of that. So it was resolved in a sense, but I got nothing from it. So I still had to come to peace with that.
Mm,
Because they're saying I did something. I'm saying that I didn't. And so there was never really any resolve from that. So
and
which led to the suicide attempts, which
mm,
led to the let's go back to how I found out I was positive. How
okay.
I found out I was positive was because one night I went to the emergency room with a friend of mine, which you've met because we've all been out. And we ended up going to the hospital one night. And being in Grady Hospital is like a twilight zone. So one night they were having people take me out of my chair, giving it to other people that needed it, people laying on the floor
Wow.
screaming and hollering. And so I just felt like I was in a daze, like I was in a trance. So I
Mm,
remember spending an entire 24 to 48 hours in the hospital. And before I left the hospital, they said, "Oh, Mr. Sykes, you got kidney stones.
mm,
And by the way, can you step out? Can your friend step outside?" And having somebody say step outside, like, what's wrong? You can't say what you need to say, here. And she was like, "Well, you're positive." And I remember having like the room stop, like things, like everything in my body just going numb.
mm,
And so the whole process with that, when you become positive, they give you the confirmatory test to make sure that um everything is what it is. And then they say, well, we can get you in care. And at that time, I wasn't I wasn't in the best headspace, so I ended up leaving Atlanta. So I ended up leaving Atlanta and coming back home to St. Louis and being around my family, which that was another experience too.
mm. Yeah. So how did you? So what's your status now? Like as far as
I've
like,
been I've been undetectable for almost the entirety of my status.
mm,
I take my meds every day, at a certain time. Just gotta watch what I eat.
right,
I'm just
right.
keep the stress level down. I'll answer your question in a second. Um, so I've been through the fire.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So you can answer it now because I'm gonna get more into something else. Um,
What's my experience working with people with ADHD? It wasn't my strength at first, but that's all I seem to encounter now. So I'm really good with focusing on what's your strengths with people with ADHD. What are you anxious about? Focus on small goals, large goals, medium goals. What do people want to accomplish? So I work on building confidence with people who have ADHD. Um, what makes you nervous? What are your triggers? Things like that. It just depends on person to person and their goals.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, so I just want because I want to get more into because when did you pledge Sigma? I want to get more into this because I think that we were gonna kind of dive into this because, like I said,
Ooh,
this is such a controversial thing, especially when it comes to the Christian aspect, the church aspect, because what like I said before, we had a conversation before this, and I was telling you that my this past Sunday, my pastor spoke on this, and how this, he broke down the divine nine, Mason, Eastern seals, and how they look up to different type of gods. It's small G, not capital G. And I forgot which what god do y'all look up to in the Sigma? Is it Zeus?
yeah, yeah. The
No, is
Yeah,
it
it is. Let's just say this. We, as in Phi Beta Sigma, Zeta Phi Beta, any of them, I can speak for all of them. We don't represent any God. What people do not understand is that those of us that have pledged fraternities and sororities, what about all the charitable work that we do? There are a few of us that there are a few people that represent a whole nation of organizations. You only see one or two people acting a fool, and that represents the entirety of the organization. No,
Right, but I get that. But I know he spoke about that too. Like there's a lot of different the organization that do provide charitable work, and they are in more in the community, and there are a lot though of those who are in different denominations or in different faiths. And so I did speak to um a minister that is a AKA, and she was talking about how they it was a different time at that time. They prayed together, and it's like they have a different type of fellowship.
we do.
So it's not always about because they think of the and it's like I said, it's just this is not necessarily my view, but just the view from the church, especially they think of it as being a demonic force, like being demonic.
So to answer your question, I joined Sigma in 2008.
Hmm.
The interesting, I want to go back a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, during my time at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, I have I became affiliated with Sigma because, like I said, because of my desire to sing, I joined the gospel choir, and
Hmm.
there was a group of Sigmas and Zetas in the gospel choir. And when I saw that they were about family love and support, that drew me to them. During that time, I couldn't be a part of the organization, but I later became a part of it after I graduated because they were no longer on campus. I think there's a picture that I recently took with some of the people that I'm speaking of. Um, these people poured into me. They never looked at me as being a person with a disability. They just saw me. And I think part of my experience, again, there's a thing, it's a beautiful nightmare because it's, oh, people making jokes about, oh, you gonna step? No.
Wow.
But it's people don't know the things that I have done behind the scenes to, make Phi Beta Sigma what it is. Now, I will honestly say I'm not active currently at this moment, because life happens, things happen, but it still doesn't mean that I haven't, poured into the organization. I won't talk about some of the other stuff that happened because I don't want to get sued. But
Mhm.
it. I am thankful for the Blue and White connection because these people have helped me become the person that I am. Helped me see the person that I was. Um, bring back some old memories in me. So I'm thankful for that.
Okay. Well, thank you for addressing it and your own perspective. Thank you for giving your perspective on that because I definitely wanted to get into that because like I said, it's a thing now. It's a thing now, even more so than before about these organizations and how exclusive it is, and like I said, how it separates from the um, from the whole spiritual aspect of things. So I wanted to make sure I got your perspective on that. So now you graduate from college, you become a therapist, you move to Atlanta, you doing all kind of stuff you with your loose ass. So now now so then let's see. So did you have and before matter of fact, like in between or before you became a therapist, I'm curious, did you have any other jobs?
Yeah. Um, I've become a job coach. I've become there are several. I've become a crisis counselor. There are several. We be here all day long if I talk about the other jobs that I've had. I wear many hats.
Yes, yes. No, I want to know because I just feel like it's very remarkable, and I think that, when people, view you, I mean, no matter how they see you, no matter how they perceive you, one thing you can't take away from is the fact that you still persevere despite everything, despite your disability, you were able to still do way more than most of us able-bodied individuals. So I do commend you for that. So I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledge that because not many people are able to do half of the stuff, and so in spite of everything, you were able to persevere. You maintain your resiliency. So I want to say kudos on that. You know,
One thing I forgot to mention earlier, before actually became a therapist, one of the jobs that I had was a disability advocate.
mm,
There was a company that I used to work for in St. Louis called Paraquad that works with people. The staff is all disabled, so we would have like disability advocate groups that go into businesses and say this is not accessible. It needs a curb sidewalk on this street. It needs a ramp in this building. So that's how I actually got into advocacy.
got it. And are you still doing that or are you still
I'm not
active
I'm not doing it like I
as much?
used to
Mhm.
because I'm in Atlanta and I haven't really I've been around, but I haven't been around. I kind of went recluse because like I said, I've learned that when I don't have any more social battery, I go inside.
Got it. Understandable. I totally get it. And so I just wanted to know too, like I'm curious as to why you decide to take Mike Hurd's life coaching class. May he rest in peace. Because that's how we met. I just because I don't know if you saw my
Yes.
video yesterday, but I was telling talk about how we that's how we met.
Um again, rebranding myself, because there was one point where I got licensed in Georgia as a licensed professional counselor in 2013, but I lost my license because I didn't know the process, and with it being every even year that you have to renew it, I lost it, and so I had a time trying to get it back. I got it back in 2022, so I've been licensed again for almost 4 years. So I wanted to rebrand myself. And so when he offered those classes, I said, okay, I can still do what I love, but life coaching in a different way. So
In a
that's why I
different
did.
way. How did
Mhm.
you find out about that? How did you find out about him? How did you find out about the class?
Um, Without telling his, we were a part of similar circles, and he posted in a particular group that he was having these classes.
Okay, got you. Yeah, so I decided to support it and decided to do this because at the time, he and Ty Couture, may he rest in peace as well. That's the time that they had their relationship um and I don't know, I just wanted to kind of explore that. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with it. At the time I said maybe I might kind of get more into advocating for holistic health in that realm. I'm not still not sure, but we're still certified life coaches nonetheless, and that's how we became acquainted. So I was wondering how, you became connected with
Yeah.
yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, so now You also became an author. So let's get more into this. Like how how did you be how did this come about?
During the time that I was at Clark Atlanta, I was trying to find ways to cope, and I started writing in my journal.
Okay.
This was a product of my journal entry. I said I wanted to tell my story because people, if you read the beginning part of the book, everybody wants to be me until it's time to be me. So I said, so let me write my story to get it out to ease my pain. So
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
how that came about.
And so can you this book right here that we're that I'm exploring right now, Don't Get Effed Up. What was the concept behind that title, and can you kind of get more into kind of give like a synopsis of this content of the content of this book in particular?
I it's interesting that when people ask me about this title, how it came about. Going back to me being a fighter and me being resilient, um, the title came about that don't think because I'm in a wheelchair that I can't whip ass. And so I laughed and joked about it and I said to one of my friends, I think I want to write a title called Don't Get Effed Up. And we laughed about it and there it was.
Interesting. And so I could imagine. I just was curious, like what type of response did you get from that? You know, from this in particular. Based on.
People were like, you are wild. You say anything out of your mouth. I'm interested into what you have to say when it comes to this book. So you asked me a question earlier about what is this book entitled. It talks about my relationship with my father. It talks about my relationship with my brother. It talks about me growing up in school, my love life or lack thereof, and
Mm,
how I got involved in dealing with people that are sex workers, which also goes back into the mental health aspect of me trying to save people. It actually talked about the first true love that I had
wow.
and and
Okay.
how that relationship came about. And me and that person are actually still friends today. Even through all of the trauma that happened with me, and the STIs and things like that. And even we talk about the success with my degrees and things, and a little bit of mess with the
Of
web
course.
reality world.
Of course. And so and we go into piece of ass. So that goes more I'm just it goes more into your your journey. You said my personal experience with prostitution and the ableism community.
Um, yes. Hence the picture is very revealing because, and I wanted to do that because this is the feeling that some of us feel when we're having sex when it's not really meaningful.
Right.
And I wanted to show some of the sorrows that we feel or the emotions that we feel when we're doing something that's not aligned within our purpose. And so Piece of Ass talks about, my journey as a person with a disability, how I'm judged as a person with a disability. Actually, these two books came about because people ask me all the time growing up, how do you have sex? It could be a very um conducive and intrusive question, but you want to know, here it
Right.
is.
Because they don't know. People don't believe it's that still works. It's just your legs. And that no. Your two
Yeah,
legs.
but really, that's really the response. That's really the response.
Yeah.
So you want to know, so here it is.
Oh my God. Really? Oh my god.
Yeah, really.
And so you showed them how it worked. You gotta basically kinda show them, you kinda showing it, telling
Uh-huh.
you showing it
It
to
it was a dramatization of what goes on in real life and the trauma that I've been through in some of these experiences.
got
And
you.
some of which I'm still dealing with.
Mm. How are you dealing with it?
Um Trying to change who I am because even in the web reality space people use that as a dagger towards me.
Of
You can't
course.
hurt me with something that I told you about.
Mhm, mhm.
So just understanding that I'm more than that. I'm more than a good time. I'm more than a fetish. You mentioned being a fetish earlier because that's something that I felt. So
Mhm,
just
mhm.
understanding either this is something that I want to do or I don't want to do it. And if I want to do it, taking responsibility for it.
Got you. And so, I mean, so before we get into the meat and the potatoes, is there anything else that you want to say about what we talked about so far in regards, to your upbringing, your education background, your career, your books, your journey as far as overcoming SA and just persevering through that? Is there anything else you want to share?
One thing that I do want to say is that I don't give enough credit to the people that are my village
Okay.
because I can't do this alone. And I'm very thankful for the people that have came and went because it shows me that I am my own warrior.
Got you. Yeah, you are. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. Now, so let me ask you, Roland Rebel, how did you get into the space where you have become so unlikable in the media?
Woo!
How did
Oh
that
my
even
gosh.
start? Let's start. Okay, let me because I want to, like I said before, I want to start in the beginning. I don't want to start in the middle. I want to establish a timeline. Where did it start? Because I know we have our source of entertainment. We got YouTube, Instagram, and we have our start as far as the entertainment realm. So how did it start for you?
So in 2017, during the time that I was at Clark Atlanta near the end, 2016, 2017, when the web reality space started, I was a blogger on YouTube. And I started reviewing the shows with a guy named Stonewatch Clark, and one or two other guys. And so what people don't realize is that um, I had become acquainted with some of the cast of Chasing Atlanta, specifically Sky and Devon and a few others. And we were cool. People liked my outgoing personality, say it like it is, or whatever. And then, because originally, and people don't believe me when I say this, I wanted to be the Imani Van Zap, the Thai couture. I wanted to be the
So you
therapist in the
Oh,
background.
okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you wanted to counsel people.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and what happened with
I didn't
that?
want to be in
Okay.
the foreground. So me having an opinion and me giving it, it was cool, it was funny. How I became unlikable was
Mhm.
because when I started turning the tides on the producers and saying, well, you're making fun of people's mental health. Because I remember I would, you know, go back and forth with Dre Simber, who actually gave me the name Rollon Rebel. So
Oh,
I
really?
turned
Oh, I didn't even know
pain.
that.
He'll never get that credit from me, but you know,
Well, you just did. You just gave it to him. You got to give it credit where credit is due. You got to give credit where credit is due.
he gave me the name Rollon Rebel in an argument. So that's how I turned it into my brand.
Okay.
Um,
Hey, see, you profited from it. See, there you go.
I did. So, when I started giving my unsolicited opinion at first,
Unsolicited. Okay.
then that's when things started to turn the tides. What people didn't know was that I actually auditioned for Chasing Atlanta in season 3. And they were actually going to accept me. But at the time, um, my mom was sick or whatever, and I was back and forth in between St. Louis and Atlanta, and it just didn't work out.
Mhm.
How the beefs between me and these people came about was because one of the producers said to me, "Well, if we can get a photo of you, a video concept of you, we'll push you right along." So I said, "Oh, okay, I'll do that."
Mhm. Mhm.
Little did I know I made a mistake. If you're not coming on dressing your best and looking the best, you're gonna get roasted. Why did I come on with my hair all over my head and
Yeah,
all of
why
the
didn't
above?
you why didn't you look presentable? I mean, why I mean, this is your shot.
Because at the time I'm thinking, okay, you want me to rush and get it done. Let me rush and get it done. I wasn't thinking anything of it. Looking back on it, I made a huge mistake.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that led into the beefs between me and Andario because then I started talking about you got people like Oliver Twix who we knew each other because at the time he was going to Morehouse and I was going to Clark. And so I would be like, well, I like you, we cool or whatever. This isn't the person that I know because Oliver actually got discovered from King of Reeds. King of
Mm.
Reeds used to come to Morehouse and then Oliver was performing or whatever. And I would be like, well, Oliver is not the person that I met that's on this show. You on here, making fun of people, and I don't appreciate this. And I'm gonna speak on it. And you're making fun of the fact that you went to Morehouse and these people are beneath you, and you're letting him get away with it on Dario. I don't like this. Change the concept. Da 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 da. Soon as I started talking about that, you're talking about our show and you're degrading our show because I'm also saying, well, chasing reality, you're making fun of Jatwan's mental health issue and you're making fun of the fact that he's the problem when he's not. When y'all are provoking and then when he pops, it's an issue.
Mhm.
So then, once again, because I say all of these things to these people and working with this blogger at the particular time, Stonewise Clark, which he had an issue with me off of some other social media stuff, he then said, well, you become the problem. You are this, you are that. And so they started paying attention, and then that's how I became the enemy.
Mm. And so I'm just okay. So it started from there. You started critiquing the show, Chasing Reality, the franchise that I just put up, and so they didn't. I guess they didn't like all of the opinions that you gave. They didn't like what you had to say. So how did it trickle off? Like how did it branch off to the like so? Okay, it went from there, and so who did you beef with next? Because I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to establish a timeline. I'm
So
trying to get that snowball rolling down the hill. How did it snowball?
it was mainly Andario, and then because the saying used to go, if you don't kiss Andario's butt, then you're not gonna get along. So then people started hearing from him, well, you need to watch what Rollon Rebel say, and it started from there. And so what happened then is it went from that to the other platform, G Status. Then I'll come back to Chasing Atlanta later. It went from from Chasing Atlanta to G Status, and how that started because me and Tramel actually beefed first. Me and Tramel and Corday.
Mm,
We beefed off of the first. No, it was actually halfway through season 1 of G Status because at the time, Sherrod and I were so called friends, so I thought. And I don't know whether you remember the allegation of them saying Sherrod was sick.
I think I remember that.
And I jumped in the comments with Corday and Tremel and I said, because I was real sensitive at the time to that because, again, I was newly diagnosed. And so I said, unless you have, the paperwork to show that you can prove this, or he said it, don't say this because it's offensive to people that are HIV positive.
Right.
So that jumped into a snowball effect of me and Tramel and Corday beefing. Then it went from that to me and Dre Simber beefing because now it's like you and I are the same person. Why do you have an issue with me? Because I'm speaking on you. And so he would call me a crackhead. He would call me dead legs. I would call him crackhead. And it
Mhm.
went from insult to insult to insult. So now I'm beefing with him. So then after that, who was I beefing with at that point? Nobody from that franchise. How me and Sherrod started beefing was
Okay.
because there was an exchange. Sherrod asked me, because like I said, I'm a giving person. I help any and everybody that needs help. Sherrod asked me for some food. And I said, well, you know, I'll give you that, no string attached. Let's just go to lunch. No sexual favors, because I don't know where that perception came from that I like to jump in people's inbox and say, well, let's jump in the bed. That's
Mm.
not me. I was genuinely trying to help Sherrod. And he said that never happened. And, I was delusional and all of that, which that started a beef between he and I, which,
So he's denying that he ever asked you for food or anything. Like he's denying that whole exchange.
mm
Mm.
hmm, mm hmm. So that started that. Then it went from me beefing with him to later beefing with Lady Monet.
Mm.
I don't know whether you remember her.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Because she would say that I'm talking to her boys because she was a madam or she was a pimp. She had connections to all the sex workers and trying to get me to, sleep with some of these boys, telling them that I was, doing sexual things with him, using the bathroom on these people, just trying to discredit who I am.
Wow.
So that started a beef. Then there was a beef between myself and Reese G because I'm trying to remember how did that beef between Reese G and myself start? Oh, because when Chase and Dallas started, I said, I told him about how he was biased towards people, and it started from if you remember the beef between Jatwan and Reese G in season 3, and all the back and forth with the lives between Andario and Lauren England and Q and all of them and Oliver, I was a part of that because I would say, well, Andario is going behind the scenes with one group and saying one thing, and then going to another group and saying another thing. And so Reese would get mad at me and say, well, Andario, don't invite him because he's causing problems. Because, again, I was calling these people out.
Mm-hmm.
So then that brings about a bigger target in me. So then it became a issue with who? Oh, then we get into season 2, the infamous Barry P.
Yeah. Magilla Gorilla. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what people don't realize is that did I like Barry? Yes. I had a soft spot for Barry, was doing things for Barry, which I shouldn't have looking back on it. And again, I want to preference this. I'm not saying anything about him. We've squashed this. He's apologized. I don't know how he feels towards me, all of that. You know, I even invited him to the G Status season 2 reunion. That's how he got there. That's what people don't realize. He had beef with a whole bunch of other people, and it kind of manifested within me.
Mm.
So, he got involved with like D. Rashawn and things like that. God rest her soul. And they were saying, well, Barry can't sing, da 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 da. And me being the loyal person that I am, I'm defending Barry because this is my friend. This is somebody that I care about.
Mhm.
So I'm telling him, watch who you talking to. She's a snake in the grass. Cause what people don't realize, I even mentioned to D that I had a book because she used to have a platform called the Hot Seat.
Yeah, because I'm trying to because I want to know like what because I know like every time we speak, even behind outside of this interview, you speak a lot about Diva Sean being a common denominator and a lot of of the beefs you had. So I'm just trying to figure out like what's the history behind you and Diva Sean. Not to speak ill of the dead, but I just want to get more context to how you and Diva Sean became such. Yeah, like how what's the history there with you and her?
She would have a platform called the Hot Seat. And so she would kind of be messy with people behind the scenes and start a lot of beef or whatever. And so I went on there to promote my book or whatever. And she was kind of challenging me, what kind of therapy do you do? And again, you know me, if you bite, if
What, what
you
was
poke,
what was wrong with asking that question though? What was wrong? That wasn't the one with that question.
because I had already answered the question and I felt like she was being funny and trying to play. And she said, well, they were laughing at you. And I'm like, well, I look at you as my sister. So I'm holding you accountable versus somebody that I'm friends with or not friends with. So then she started saying things behind the scenes about me. And then I saw how she would, kind of play the field between Barry and other people because people were making fun of Barry. And so I made the mistake of saying to Barry, well, you need to watch out for her because she's a snake in the grass. Not realizing that he's on the phone with them, Carl included, which is her best friend,
Mm-hmm.
and they all put me on a call to confront me. Sky,
Wow.
Sky being one of those people too. Because I told Sky that I said this because at the time I was close with Sky too, which was another person that I had a beef with too. Because he became close to Barry as well. Um, so there was an exchange back and forth between me and D. Rashawn, and we would go back and forth, and she would talk about my legs and things and my disability or whatever. And I told her she was a trash mom and things like that. And then, me being me, looking back on things, I talked about her children, because the hurt me being who I am
Mm-hmm.
did what I did. And so
Mm-hmm.
that caused a whole wildfire because now I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. Don't do me this way. I'm getting my brothers to talk bad about you or they going to get you or whatever. And so that caused the problem. So from then on out, every time she would go on a platform, whether it be TTB, whoever, it was always, you have these pages following me, harassing me. I would even go on platforms and say, D, I'm sorry. Let's just wave the white flag. Let's just move forward. Nothing. So even when it got to the point of me and Barry arguing, because people had said that I had even said things about, Barry's kids, and then later on it came to find out that he didn't have any kids. And then people were saying, well, you still said something about his kids or whatever. He's gonna get you, and how it led up to the spitting part. So, like I said, part of why I said D. Rashawn was a part of a lot of the beefs that I had was because she would do things and then kind of hide behind the scenes that she was doing these things. Not that I wasn't willing to take accountability for what I did. It's just the fact of, if you're messing with me and disrespecting me on the fact that you hurt my feelings. Because I don't have a problem with saying, I apologize and I'm dead wrong for talking about your kids. Because I was always doing that. Because one thing I've learned about myself is that in the moment that I may be saying things, but then I realize once I calm down, you know better.
Right.
You know better. This is not within you. This is not what God will want you to do. This is not your purpose. But somehow or another, all of these individuals that I've had a beef with, including Sky Valentine, um, don't forget what I said. They want me to bow down, but they refuse to apologize to me.
Okay, and so what is the overall like before we get more further into it, because I know it's a lot, you know. So I know some people in the audience, some people in the bushes. I just want to add a little bit more context. Rollon Rebel, he's going into the fuse that started with him online between himself and the cast members of the shows that he reviewed. There's web reality shows that were on YouTube. In the mid 2000s, like 2000, what, 17, 18. And
Hmm.
so, and it was kind of innovative because those were like like the first um, the Chase Reality franchise, as well as G Status, ATL Hustle. Those were like the first reality web reality shows that focus primarily on the LGBTQIA community. So, so Tony is going over all of the people that he's interacted with through these circles and through him reviewing this show and his opinion and perspective on these shows and some of the critiques about the people that was starring in these particular shows and how it trickled down. So I just want to kind of give some of the people some context because they be like, "Who the heck is he talking about? Oh, where's all this coming from?" So I just want to kind of add a little bit of context to what he's
Mhm.
talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
And so so all right, so we was going into the whole spitting incident.
So how that came about was um later in 2021, I became acquaintances, because I wouldn't say friends, with Hershey Kids TV and um T Spiller. I hate mentioning his name. Um and the infamous Trey Sorrell. So during that particular time, we had all gathered, because this was during one of the times that I wasn't in Atlanta. I was in St. Louis, but I was here at that time for Gay Pride. So what led to that argument between Barry and I was we were all preparing to meet up for Pride that weekend. Myself, Hershey Kissy, BT Spiller, and another young lady that were all cool. So T Spiller had a friend in which Barry was cool with. And so he and I had had an exchange of words or whatever a couple of days before, leading up to the Pride festivities, you know. And I kept telling T Swiller, you check your friend. I don't have an issue with him, but he wants to have an issue with me. You're always running your mouth. You always saying things. You always being a slick mouth or whatever. And I'm like, well, whatever your issue is, let's address it. So we're all in the park together, and he's like saying things to me like, "You can get beat up tonight. You can get beat up tonight." Just screaming and hollering, and I'm just trying to, you know, get away from the issue.
Hmm.
So how I was set up that particular night or that particular day was I met them at the park, which goes into another beef, which I'll talk about later. I met them at the park, um, and they said, "Well, we want to go to Henry's, which is no longer Rest in Peace to Henry's. Let's meet up at the restaurant, and so that we can all go to the park. We can walk down to the park." So I get into the park. We going back and forth or whatever. And as we're going back and forth, I said, "Well, I'm gonna maneuver around the park. I'll see you later." In between me saying I'm gonna maneuver around the park, I'll see you later, somehow or another, Barry gets called. And so we have an argument, we have an exchange. Jack Daniels is being thrown on me, and he
Wow.
gets down in my face, like right here in my face, and spits.
Mm.
And so then at that point, I get into a state of shock saying, "He spit on me, he spit on me, he spit on me." That's the next time you talk about my kids. And it became a thing. And it became an issue because then D. Rashawn now goes on to TTB and is laughing and joking about it. So I'm providing receipts about how he's done all this to me, and so that
Did you press
further
charges?
I attempted to, but I never really got. I never had the proper information because the numbers that he gave me weren't valid numbers. So I attempted to, but I don't know how far that went.
Mm. Hmm.
So then it became a thing of people making fake pages of me saying things to people when I'm not there. Because at that point, I kind of backed off because I was embarrassed because of what happened.
Right.
I'm like, but you getting into all these fights with people, K Star, Carl, which that's another beef that will never go away. Me and Carl don't
Yes.
get along
Yeah, because I
to
want to
this
get into that too. Yeah.
to this day. Um, it's yeah, it's that was a wild time.
Yes. Yeah, but I'm just wondering, like, how, I'm still trying to figure out, like, why didn't you follow up with pressing charges? Because, I mean, that is just disgusting. So, I mean, I know you made up now, but still, just going looking back at it, why didn't you follow up
Because
with
I didn't have the proper information because they were saying, well, we don't have any Barry Pendleton, we don't have this. So gave them the information that I had, and they were like, well, there has to be a police report with an incident. Nobody called the police when that happened, so it wasn't really anything that I could do.
Mm. And so, excuse me, and you mentioned from there, D. Rashawn was on, TTB Network is another, he's a content creator. He has his own channel as well. And he does different content. He talks about the web reality world as well as celebrity topics. So that's in TTB, he does tend to have a lot of these live panel discussions with different cast members or different people, and they sometimes have, they hash out things. Sometimes they have, all out, you know, session, all out session, and just kind of going back and forth and addressing whatever it is they need to address, or dragging each other, roasting and gagging each other on that platform as well. So you're saying that you were being laughed at, you're being made fun of because of that incident. And so what happened from there?
So me and TTB became enemies because of that.
Mm-mm.
We well, it was a multitude of things. That and he became cool with Andario. Again, it's going back to the Andario feels some type of way, then that means something. So TTB
Mm,
and I became enemies because it's like you sitting up here laughing with these people
mm,
about what happened, but you got a bad heart and they're making fun of you about this. And so it's like, why are we supposed to care? And
mm,
so because again, here I've literally been told by a lot of these people, it's not what I say, it's what I represent to them. How are you, a person in a wheelchair with all this mouth, and saying stuff to me like that? That's what's offensive to me. And I was even told this by D. Rashawn and Carl and all these other people. But yet you've had access to me and reached to me that you want to do all these things to me and haven't done it. What have I done to you so much that you want to do these things? If I've apologized to you and you don't want to accept it, that's on you. That's not on me.
mhm. But I think, and I think we talked about this as well, that a lot of the issues that a lot of the people have that you beef with is that you apologize, but it's your behavior don't change. You apologize, and then you're good for a hot minute, and then you right back into the beefs again, which we're gonna go, dive more into. So it's like, why are you continuing to you claim to take ownership, you claim to own it, you claim that you own your part in these, but then your behavior hasn't changed.
I can see that.
Hmm.
I can see that. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So what do you say to that? I mean, what do you say now? Like, just given, what we spoke about so far.
Um I'll say this, that I'm a work in progress, just like everybody else. Give me a chance to get it right before you put me down. Um, Hold me accountable, sure, but don't not give me a chance without hearing the other side. Because one thing about it, and two things for sure, I'm not just saying things for color commentary. I'm also being disrespected as well.
Mhm.
And
Right.
again, I can't I can't not take accountability, but I just want people to understand, if you want respect, you got to give it,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I'll stand on that. I don't mind, helping others and being there for others, but if you don't respect me, leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone. You awake the bear, then you'll get the consequences. Not saying that, nuck if you buck, I'm down for whatever. It's just that I don't want to be that person, and I don't want you to feel like every time I'm in a space with you, there's going to be an argument.
Right.
I
Yeah,
want you
that
to.
could be draining it. I could be draining this much. So going back to the timeline, you had issue because TTP was on his platform. He's making fun of your incident with Barry with McGilla Gorilla, and you know, and so he and Diva Shawn was making fun of it. And I know like you've been back and forth on that panel a few times. So what was the next set of beefs? When what? So what so went from that point, and then what else? Like what was the next beef up? What was the
It
next step?
went from that platform to on the way up Atlanta.
All the way up. Okay. All the way up in Nana.
Um, because I started beefing with Bando Kane, who is on the new show,
The
The Scene or
scene.
whatever.
Mhm.
And the funny thing about that is that Bando is kind of like me. And what people don't understand is that Bando is a lot, but he's a sweetheart. And how we became to beef was, I don't know actually, because I've never really disrespected Brandon. So that's a beef that I can't really tell
How did
you.
it start? I mean, it came from somewhere.
Again, it came from, I think, him wanting to be in the in crowd with other people, because one of the things that I told Brandon before we, when he was on the other show, I'm gonna always tell you the truth, but I'm always gonna respect you and hear your side of the story. I think when he became cool with T Spiller and TTB and all these other people, then it became, oh, you don't respect me either.
Mhm. Why would you? I mean, so is that what he said out his mouth? Do those words come out his mouth?
I've literally asked him, as you can see on when we were promoting this, you know, interview, we had a back and forth beef on the post. I've literally
You did
asked him,
on the
uh-huh,
on the post, really?
uh, we
Oh, I
had
didn't know
we
that.
had, we had a back and forth exchange on the post, and he's like, well, um, gone somewhere shitty booty. Nobody's gonna really pay attention to you in that interview. Tell us when you got really something going on, because like I said, I told you the comment that I made was, the scene ATL, some of the cast members are
Mm,
trash.
right. Mhm.
And I understand the context behind that, but I was talking about specific people.
But yeah, but that's not what you said. You said the cast members. You didn't say specific people. You got to move your
Th-
finger, Roland. You got to move your finger.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. Um,
You have like a tripod or something, or it's like something you can
yeah,
like lean the
it's
phone on.
falling. It's falling. That's why that I
Oh.
had my finger. Um, so I said the cast because I didn't want to say no names, but they know who they were.
Yeah, no, no, but that's what I'm saying. But you made a general statement towards the cast, and that's why. And let me ask you, because I'm going to kind of go like, what transpired between you and Scotty by Nature? Like, how did that happen? I mean, that's weird. Yeah,
um,
I'm still here, Tony. Mm.
I Well, I do know the answer to that.
Do pray tell.
Um, Scotty is cool with the Justice League. And I remember because me and YB actually had this beef as well. Because I made a statement about their biases towards cast members on when they had the Justice League, because I would give my opinion too, because they would invite me on the cast on the platform of that. And they were talking about King Kane, somebody who was a member of Chasing Dallas the platform. And they were talking about how dirty he is, how this and that. And if I like somebody and I feel like they cool, you're not gonna disrespect them in my presence. So when it came to that, I remember going back and forth with YB and Evie reviews and you know really being all of them, and they got mad
God,
about
them too? My
yeah,
goodness.
and
Okay.
they got mad about that, and so Scotty didn't like me because of that, and then we had an exchange at the G Status season 2 reunion. He says I ran him over or whatever, what have you. And again, like I said numerous of times, I don't have an issue with him. I actually like him. We have a lot of things in common. We are similar people. It's I really feel like it's just because of my proximity to who he's cool with.
You that's what you think, but so you're saying that he accused you of wait, I'm sorry. What was it that he said that you ran him over? Like, oh, you accused him of saying that you ran him over. What was that? I'm sorry.
He said that I accused him I ran him over or something to that effect at the
Mm,
G Status season 2 reunion.
okay.
But I really feel like a lot of it, if my memory serves me correctly, a lot of the beef came from, you know, my connection or my argument with L Teddy and really be in every reviews and all of them.
And why was you arguing with them?
Again, because of my opinion about what they said about another Chasing Dallas cast member,
Okay.
because I disagreed with them.
Okay. Because I do remember Scotty addressing you on TTB's platform, and as I remember, he addressed you and saying that did you not say that that I accused that he was addressing the fact um that you accused like he accused you of running him over or something like that, but he was just denying it. He was denying that he accused you of running him over. That's what it was. He denied that he accused you of running you over, and then I remember you saying that you never said that, but now you're saying that you did. You're saying that that was said.
That I'm saying that that's was the argument.
Okay,
If I did, I don't remember. It was a lot of stuff going on at that reunion. I don't remember what was
right.
what.
And so, going back to Ebby reviews, El Teddy, and really B, um, you saying that they had beef with you because you had an opinion about someone from which person that they were that
Uh,
was.
um, King came from Chasing Dallas
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
because
just
he
trying to keep track.
he actually addressed this on Harvin's platform a little while ago, like
Hmm.
maybe a month or so ago. Only for him to say that he's rooting for me, that I have a big personality. I could have had a platform by now, but I'm being lazy. And if that's what it is, and that's what you agree with, and I actually agree with you. But if that's not what it is, and that's your real issue with me, then say that. I don't
Hmm.
mind talking to you about it. But you saying, "Well, I'll never like you. You're the spawn of the earth." Why do you want me to respect you?
Wow. Okay. So it went from that, the back and forth with Scotty, really be El Teddy, Ebby reviews over your opinion about some people from the Chasing Dallas series. And then so now what's the next beef? Where did it go from there?
Going back to the On the Way Up Atlanta platform,
Okay.
um, there was a few people. I actually beef with. I don't know whether you know who this person is. Phil the Prince, and then I
Mm,
actually beef with. There's a singer by the name of Page Marie or Page. So
I never heard of them.
so the beefs between me and those people was because Phil and I have been cool for years. We've been in circles together. He's seen me in public. We've actually hung out. Um, our beef stemmed from another cast member on that platform, Trey Morris, which I actually beef with too because
Wow.
of some other stuff, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I think that's also the reason that me and Bando came beef because I was beefing with his friend. But like I said, like we had discussed behind the scenes, your beef with me or your beef with my friend has nothing to do with me. So I'm thinking, okay, if I'm showing you who I am authentically, then what's the issue? So how it goes to my beef with this lady Page Marie was because on one of these shows, like I said, I used to review these shows all the time, go up on lives or whatever. And so there was a discussion about this particular person, Trey Morris, being bisexual or whatever. And I'm
Hmm.
like, why are you, as a viewer, as a cisgender woman, why are you saying something to a man about their sexuality? It's offensive. You shouldn't do that. She got defensive and started cussing me out. I'm going to get my man to beat your ass and all these things. And I have all the receipts. So then she starts talking about my disability and all these things. So then, you know, I go for the jugular and what I said.
What did you
You're
say?
you're talking about my disability. Let's talk about you as a mother and you and your child.
Mhm.
So now it's, oh, I'm gonna whoop your ass because you talking about my child. But no, you disrespected me when I'm just coming to you as a viewer, and I've said to you, I like you as a viewer, as a viewer, and I like you as a singer. But as a gay man, whether something happened that we didn't see, this is something that you shouldn't do. It's offensive. So we beef from that.
Mm.
Since then, I've still apologized. Nothing. I've even beefed with the producer of that show, saying that he's too emotional to be, you know, a part of the cast because he was a part of the cast at the time, and he was like, "Well, I don't want you on my platform. I don't want you nowhere near it or whatever." Even though I would still support it,
Right.
but people have issues with me. So then it went from that to me then now beefing with this person that I'm defending, Trey Morris. And that got deeper because when it came time for me to promote my book, I reached out to designers that he had already um, used. And because he had already used these designers and he had screwed them over, the designer that he got to design his clothes screwed me over and stole money from me because of him. So that's why we're beefing.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
And I was also defending my then friend, DJ the singer, which is another beef now.
Oh yes, let's talk about it because I know that this is saying this out of all of the beasts that you mentioned. You said this one hurt the most, so I want to get more into that.
hmm So now, okay. So DJ and I have been friends for 2 years now. Two, well, we're no longer friends. But before that, I've known DJ for about 10 years. I met him in 2015. We ran in the same circles together. DJ and I experienced a lot together. He was somebody that I, really looked up to and cared for. Um, Part of the reason, and I'm taking accountability for it now. Part of the reason that we're into it now is because he says that he doesn't agree with some of the things that I said to the Paget Marie girl, that I said to Danita, that I said to all of these people, which is fine. I can take that. But my issue with this person has been, like I said, the theme of who I am is when I love you as a person, I love you as a person. I felt that DJ did not respect me because he was always, you know, checking me on what I did, but never how I felt. But you're always, following behind people that have wronged me. So, and this, and I'm trying to be mindful of my words. I don't want to. I did things for DJ that I wouldn't normally do for anybody. When Even in the time that you were, you know, down on your luck and needed a friend, I was there. I was the friend that you can call on in the middle of the night when you were at your lowest. I was just the friend. I'm me. You take away the persona, just me. I shown him, all the personal stuff. I really gave him a chance to get to know me. Um, he says that the reason that we are not cool was because he was going through his own things. Part of the things that really upset me was the night that I moved back to Atlanta. When I came back this final time, he had a show, and despite my challenges with, being in a chair and all that, I'm front row and center and supporting my friend. You need me to be there, I'm gonna be there. Since that point, that person was never there for me. And I kept saying, well, I need you to be here for me. I need you to be here for me. Well, when I get myself together, I'll be there for you. Well, you don't have any furniture in your apartment. We can't sit on the floor. Um, I want to take you out to lunch. Well, I don't have time. I'm hurting myself, but you can't support me, but I'm supporting you. There have been times where, you know, he's been friends with people that have talked bad about him, but and they won't admit that they talk bad about him, but then yet you're still talking to him. Lying on me, talking to people about how I'm paying people for sex and not getting the things that I deserve because I'm paying for it. Who says that to somebody that they love and care about?
So you saying that the friendship was mainly one sided, like you feel like you put more effort into it than he did at the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So now, so when was the last time y'all spoke? I mean, did y'all ever have the conversation, one to one?
So the last time we had the conversation was I don't we didn't mention this earlier in the interview, but I was on Trace Raw's platform and I met two or three other individuals that was on this platform with me. And so one night we had decided that we were going to repair our friendship because I called him on the phone because I said some things to him that I shouldn't have said, and I apologize. We went blow for blow about health reads and things like that. And so
Mm,
we decided that we were going to repair our friendship. You know, Even when he, you know, became a background singer for Kelly Price, I was there.
mm,
You know,
okay.
so he, I'm trying to remember. So he told me, "Well, I want to tell you something, but I don't want you to say anything." So one of your podcast mates had been hooking up with me or trying to hit me up on the side to engage with me. So I didn't say anything. Um, I let it play out because of me having this infamous persona. He thought that let me get on it before he decides to use it on Mad Day and tell on me. So he decides to reveal that to the person that he was talking about. And it started a whole trifecta of things.
Mm. So
And
now, yeah, yeah, Tony, you got to move your hand, move your finger.
okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Uh,
You got to find, is there a way you can find like a more steady place that you can stand it up on your phone?
Okay, we good now. You got it.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Now I was gonna ask, like, so if you had the opportunity, like, if you was able to be like face to face, or like, or if he's, even watching and from the bushes or watching the replay right now, um, what would you really from the heart want to say to DJ?
Nothing.
Mm.
Because you showed me how you felt. And I'm trying not to cry. Um I feel like I always have to kiss butt to make things right.
Like you have to make the first move.
Hmm.
Mm.
And I don't want to do that. So it's like I know what he's upset with me about. I know what a lot of these people are upset with me about. But again, this is not just me.
Mm.
This is you got to address the hurt that comes along with me as well.
Got it. I mean, so if you have the opportunity, I mean, would you, if it presented itself to where you're able to um make your feelings known and yeah, have that conversation with no interruptions, I mean, would you be open to that?
I think because truth be told, I think because he's so cool with these individuals, and I hate that the web reality spaces like this. If you're cool with said individual and they know you have a relationship with somebody you don't like or they don't like, they don't want you to be involved. So I think if those people weren't in the way, then there's a chance to have the said conversation. But because they are, it's not.
Mm. So now, is there anybody else? Because this is your moment. Like this is your opportunity. Just like you said before, you wanted to address everything. You wanted to let it all out once and for all. You wanted to clear the air, clear your name. So, is there anybody else you need to address that you have beef with? Any? Because we don't want to miss anybody if we can help it. Like we would try to
Um,
avoid it.
Carl,
Right, right.
let me be very, very candid.
Okay.
I will never like you. You will never like me. Leave me alone.
What did he do to you? How's he? But
So the reason that I made the statement that I made that these people are trash and tragic, there was a time last year within the time that I moved and was in my new apartment that he got on live one night and drunk and started talking shit about me, saying that he would slap me and all these. And again, I'm quiet. Now, if I'm quiet and I'm not saying anything, then why are you speaking?
mm,
So now, my I don't like this is warranted because you still have an issue with me. So it's like, is it because of the D thing? She's not here.
mhm,
But what is your issue? You haven't said, and it's the side people. It's the Nikki Coco me's. And again, they're all affiliated with D, but I want them to just realize D wasn't as innocent either.
Right. You gotta hold your camera still, and you're pointed it to that thing on your nightstand. So I don't want any the audience to keep seeing that either. It's kind of private.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Sorry about that.
Hmm.
Um I don't want that to kind of be the the end all be all. Like I understand you want me to take accountability, but what can I do at this point? I can't continue, sorry about that. I can't continue to keep having to take accountability. Oh, I can't continue to keep having to take accountability.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, I don't know where he went. He disappeared. He'll be back. So once he comes back up, I'll bring him back up. But I know this is a lot for you guys, and I appreciate those bearing with us, those who are coming in or going out, those in the bushes, those still in the chat. Shout out to those who came through, and I'm hoping that you receive something from this interview, like coming, given Tony's background. But right now, he wanted to use this platform as an opportunity to address all of the beefs, all of the feuds, and kind of a sense of atonement. But here, he's back, you
Sorry
know.
about that.
So
My signal kind of faded. I can't keep taking accountability for something that you guys just refuse to do. And it kind of feels like now, wherever I go, it feels like people are scared to approach me because I'm infamous with problems, whether it's with sex workers or just people in general, not realizing that I have a story to tell too about how people have done me. But I choose to keep it quiet because I don't want to, make a bigger issue than what it already is.
mhm,
Unless they bring it out.
got you.
The
So it's,
other the
I'm
other
sorry.
thing that I want to mention too is Andario. Because we kind of talked about him in the beginning.
Right.
I'm grateful for the opportunities that he has given me, but I want him to understand my whole goal in this was to not bash your platform. My goal was that okay, if you're going to be messy, be fair on all ends. Because until it's you that's being made fun of, you don't know what it feels like. Maybe the message that I was trying to present came out in the wrong way, but I meant it with good intentions.
Okay, and that's what you want to say to Ondario, if he was to watch.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Um, to and I want to give a shout out to Tremel
Okay. Okay.
because this is how you know that some people have hearts and some people are willing to give you second chances. Because I remember when he did an interview with Imani Van Zap
Mhm. Mhm.
and he gave me a shout out saying that it wasn't until I said something to him about how he had hurt other people and how the perception of how things look on TV, um, how people perceive him, made him have a different perception of me. That's what made me want to rebuild the relationship with Tramel because he actually did see me and he actually did give me a chance to show who I was.
Okay.
I don't expect that from everybody, but at least try.
Noted. Duly noted. Now, anybody else? I know we because we I know that you have with YB, and then there was a couple of others. I believe I can't remember, but what happened between you and YB?
Um, that's that's in reference to me mentioning that about the interview about a Chasing Dallas cast member and me speaking on that and him not liking my opinion about it, telling the Justice League that they were biased towards certain people that they
Mhm.
liked.
Oh, okay. And
Oh, one person that I didn't mention was Sky Valentine.
mhm.
That was another one that hurt me too because um he was one of the ones that kind of gave me the courage to, say what I wanted to say and be the person that I wanted to be. We were similar in age, so he was kind of somebody I related to, no nonsense, all of that. So, how all of that changed.
Okay. I think he was mentioning about his signal going in and out. But again, I wanted to, I was saying before he came up the last time that he's just making an effort to atone or, just address those who he was in conflict with. So that's what we're doing right now. So now he's on Sky Valentine.
Yeah, my signal keeps going out. So, how that transpired was because when he became cool with Barry, Sky was one of the people I can say to this day that said, "You shouldn't have said that about D, or you should have said that to her and not said it behind her back."
Hmm.
And so I knew that then, but again, my philosophy has been if you messing with somebody that I hold near and dear, none of that matters. I'm kind of doing similar things that they did looking back,
Hmm.
kind of only caring about those that I care about. So I can see, in a sense, I can see why they feel the way they do. Because if
Right.
I'm sticking up for the people that I care about, you sticking up for the people you care about, and that's what it is. We're a stalemate. Um, I even was, you know, there for him when he, you know, was going through taking care of his grandmother, when he had Bell's palsy, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Me being in the back, and I don't want to take credit for that because that's who I am. That's just the person I am. If I deem you as somebody that's important, I'm going to look after you regardless. He was then telling people that I was stalking him, just using him to get on the platform, things like that. Um, we had an exchange back and forth because of the Barry thing and the Danita thing. And then he said that I said some things about his now deceased grandmother. Even though at the time, while he was taking care of her, I was giving him resources on how to deal with that because I deal with those things by, again, advocacy. But again,
Right.
because
Right.
you don't respect me, none of that matters. They can paint the picture of however they want it to be. And so I know you probably are wondering, have I tried to make amends with them? Yeah, but it's at this point, things have kind of fizzled out. They probably wouldn't even want to. Now, when the beef between him and Barry kind of came to a head, he kind of said that he felt sorry for me, but there was never no apology.
So, anyone else?
Um,
Because I don't want to, we don't want to miss. Not if we can help it. We don't want to miss anyone because, because I want to be able to give you the opportunity, like I said, to clear the air and just start anew. And the purpose of starting anew, the purpose of wiping the slate clean, is to kind of heal
I
those
want
wounds. Address, you know,
I
those
want to
past.
address everybody that I've had a beef with,
Okay.
and this is a general thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people have probably heard me several many times, but I am in a different space in my life. Um, I've had a lot of wins and I've had a lot of losses. The person that I was 10 years ago, I am not the same person. So if you choose to give me a chance, that's fine. If you don't, I will leave you be. However, everybody deserves a second chance, including you. But if you feel that I have hurt you in any way, shape, or form, I am sincerely apologize from the bottom of my heart. Because one thing I learned from the passing of my brother, you will never know when it's time. I've been through so much that I know what it feels like to hurt, and I was hurting. And I know a lot of them are hurting too. And so me getting behind the skies and the divines and the charades and the, Tremels, because I saw myself in these people. And so I would say to them, because this is how I grew up, that if you're not strong enough to be on reality TV, then don't be on reality TV. But I can't tell you to what your journey is. I only see what I see as a viewer. And as a viewer, I saw parts of myself in them. So that's why I go so hard. Because if I didn't, then I wouldn't say anything. But I see now that that hurts them. And like I said, I sincerely apologize.
And I can respect that. And like you said, even if there's some people that may receive it, there's some people that may not. Also, people may just kind of meet you where you are right now at this place, or they might decide to move on, and that's okay because not everyone. We're not meant to. You can't force a relationship with people. You can't force a friendship on them. The only thing you can do is continue to work on yourself. So I just want to ask you, Tony. Now, once you've made this you starting this new journey for yourself, and what happens the next time you are in a situation where you feel the conflict coming, or there's someone out there that's trying to provoke you, or how would you address it, like moving forward? How would you handle it moving forward? how
Uh,
how would you handle the conflict, if there is any? How would you handle it moving forward?
One thing I've always done, and I don't think it's ever been looked at in that way. I inbox that person so that we can have a one-on-one conversation. I think how it goes left is me confronting them because now there's the perception of now he's jumping in inboxes. So I'll address how I feel, um, give them the opportunity to say whatever they need to say. If they don't agree with it, let it be.
Hmm.
They
Yeah,
can.
because not all battles need to be fought. You have to know how to pick your battles wise, and I think we talked about that many times before. You got to know how to pick your battles, and knowing that if you're starting anew and you are toning for whatever it is your responsibility to learn how to not just how to project certain things, but know how to respond to it. It's about your reactions. It's about how you react, but you have to be more proactive. So that's why I asked you, moving forward, how would you handle, like, if you see that there's someone is trying to provoke you or trying to ignite something, how would you handle it? You
And I
know.
think and I think looking back on things, the hurt me is the one that's responding.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm responding because I'm hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's learning to, like I tell my patient, what what hurts you to make you respond in that way. So I have to look within to say, okay, this comment hurt me, so that's what's making the feeling feel what it feels like.
Got it. Alrighty. So, do you feel at this point, do you feel like you were able to get everything out in the open at this point? Do you feel like you've addressed everything? How do you feel at this moment? Do you feel more relieved? Do you feel like you released?
I mean, we would be here all night if I talked about everybody.
Mhm.
Um,
It's a start.
but I feel like I've said my piece.
Okay. Are you at peace with that?
No, but I will make do.
Okay. Mm.
And the reason that I said no is because my heart says I want to be at peace with everybody. I want people to see the happy go lucky me. I want people to see, the fun loving person that I am. But then I also have to realize not everybody's supposed to see that. So just accepting where I am.
Okay, and exactly, and I think that you have to accept that, like I said, moving forward, there's some people that's going to be in alignment with you on your journey, and some people are not, and you have to be okay with that. So, but like I said, I want to thank you for, like I said, using my platform to address that. So, is any final words that you have?
Everybody go pick up Don't Get Effed Up
Mhm.
and POA. And you can pick up Black Man's Guide to Graduate School all on Amazon. I have another project coming out at the top of next year and some other things that's coming. Maybe I'll come back at the top of the year to discuss these things.
Alrighty, okay.
I
Well,
want people to understand there's more to the man than drama. There's
yes.
actually a brain.
Mhm.
There's
Mhm.
actually comedy. There's actually love. There's actually a person. So now I'm on the journey to allow you all to see the person. And the YouTube channel is coming back.
Yes, yes. Let's put some content on that. Yes. Let's be consistent.
I think the content that I'm going to put on there is I'm going to actually give some sort of therapy advice. Not
Okay.
ac- not actually be your therapist, but give you some
Mhm.
advice.
Okay.
Just so that people can see what my life is like.
What you're capable of, right? So they won't question, your abilities or credentials. Right. Right.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. That's a good idea. Maybe they can call in or ask some questions, and on the platform.
Right. Well, that will be coming at the top of the year.
All right. Well, good. Yes. So you see, some people looking forward to it. See.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. But it's coming back. It's coming back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Good. Yeah, alrighty. So I really, like I said, I thank you so much again. Like I said, I know you're going to be back on this platform, again. So I'm not worried about that. But I'm just glad that you was able to, and even if you're, kind of halfway there. You started the process. You started the process of growth, and so hopefully, the evolution just, just continue to go up from here. So I just appreciate you coming through. I appreciate you sitting with me. If you could stay, can you stay behind for me, after this?
Yes.
Okay, but
No
yes.
games. No games.
Oh, yeah, I guess oh, sorry, yeah, okay, let's see. What you wanna do, this or that? Because I know that everybody love that one.
Yeah, this or that.
This or that, okay. Yeah, I can't wait till I get that, I made the title card, but okay, I'm working on the music for that. But anywho, um, chasing reality or, G status?
That's a hard one. I would
Mhm.
say I like the man so G status.
Okay. Okay, so which one would you prefer? Love and War, Tamar Braxton, or More Issues Than Vogue, K Michelle?
Uh, I like them both, but I would have to go with my yodeling sister, K Michelle.
Right, right, right. Yeah. That's the yodel. It's the yodel and that got it.
Mm, yeah, it was a yo.
Okay. So,
And
okay.
and little known fact, how I got the name Rollon Rebel was like I said, because December gave it to me, but I'm a big fan of K Michelle, so I'm a rebel. So
Mm, ah,
that's where the rebel came from.
ah. Okay, okay. All right. So vanilla or chocolate ice cream?
Chocolate all day long.
Okay. Now, red rice and sausage or Hoppin' John. You know Hoppin' John is?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I would take Hop
Peas
and
and rice
John.
for those. Okay, peas and rice for those that don't know. Okay. Hoppin' John?
Hop and John.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, I didn't like peas when I was little, but now.
Yeah, but I don't like the sweet peas. I can't stand the sweet peas, but that's totally the Hoppin' John is like either black eyed peas and black eyed peas and rice or cow peas and rice. That's Hoppin' John. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Um Keith Sweat or Anthony Hamilton.
um, I love you, Anthony, but I'm gonna go Keith.
Okay, okay. All right. Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac all day.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, you just said that. You said that with the quickness.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. Okay, so
I like rebels. Can't you tell?
uh, okay, I got it. I see the trend. I see the pattern. Okay. So, mental health counseling or advocacy? Advocacy.
Um, I would say advocacy because you can do a little bit of both.
That's true. That's true. All right. So, okay. I'm trying to be I'm trying not to be messy, but I can't help it.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Chamel or Sky Valentine?
I plead the fifth.
No, no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Um, Tremel.
Okay. All righty. So, we got, we play a little something, something that, Good job. Okay, there you go. There you go. All right. All right. Yes, I know. People love that game. Like I said, I'm still working on those title cards. You know, I just have to make.
I thought you was gonna get messier than that.
Oh no, no, no. It's we've been on too long. Maybe next time. Yeah, we've been on too long, but yeah, but because it was so much, like I said, we was able to unpack so much. So,
Hmm.
like I said, I appreciate you using my platform to open up the way you did, and also sharing your life journey, your background, and all that good stuff. So, is there anything? 'Cause I know I didn't know about the singing part, but other than that, is there anything else that no one knows about Rollon Rebel that may shock people, may not may be like, oh wow, I had no idea.
Um, yes, there's actually is. Um, so when I was, let's see, I used to do pageants in college.
Oh, what type of pageants?
Um, have you heard of the Miyaka pageants?
No, what's that?
Um, Mr. AKA, like the sorority and fraternities had like pageants. Like back
Um,
in the day, there used to be pageants I used to do.
Oh, okay, 'cause I never, I haven't really gotten into the pageantry of the Greek organizations. I never got into those. Or
Um,
I'm not familiar with them. Mm.
yeah, I used to do pageants. Um, I used to write songs.
Mm.
There's and I got a whole bunch of hidden talents that
Yeah, I
nobody know I
see.
had.
Apparently. Shit. Okay. All right. I see you. Yeah, but like I said, make sure you stay behind for me. But I really, like I said, you want to say?
Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, I said I was gonna mention the significance behind that picture you put up on
Oh
the
yes, yes, yes. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, yes.
um if you could put up the picture.
Okay. Yeah, that's on the actual thumbnail as well, but, yeah, go ahead, Imma find it.
So that picture was that was on my brother's. first birthday after he passed.
Oh,
So
wait. You're talking about his anniversary of his death, you mean?
no, his birthday.
Oh, his
The
birthday. Oh, so it was his heavenly birthday.
yes.
Okay.
Um, so we had actually just released Dubs after I took that picture, and that was um his way of speaking to me. That's why I like that picture.
Oh, he took the picture. He took that picture of you.
No, not him,
I mean, I mean,
but
I mean, at the time, I mean, I know. I mean, you took because I'm thinking that okay, you know what I'm thinking that you're saying that I'm thinking that it was an older picture that he took of you and you decided to put it up. That's what I'm thinking that you're saying. I'm sorry.
mm-mm,
I misheard you. That's what I meant.
right, right.
So,
That's the significance of that picture.
but who you said took it? I'm sorry.
My sister took it.
Your sister. Okay. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to look for it now. I mean, it was quite recent. I don't know why I can't find it. But it's on the flyer. So, but I don't know why I can't find it now. Hmm. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, it's like I said, it was quite recent.
Oh, one other talent that I have is I don't do it anymore. I used to do it, but I used to write poems.
Oh, okay. I'm okay. I could see that. I could definitely see that. I haven't wrote poetry in years either. Yeah, it has to really. I mean, has to be like on occasion. Has to be something that is that I'm kind of like really, really like drawn to do. It's not something I just do, you know, um, at the drop of a hat. Like I don't, yeah, I don't do it any longer.
One of the things that I want to do the next time I come on your platform is talk about my love life.
Ah, do you have? You have one?
Yes,
Do
um,
you?
contrary to popular belief, I do.
Ah,
Um, and some regrets and mistakes that I've made because I've had some nice looking suitors,
hmm.
but hey, we can talk about that.
Oh, okay, okay, definitely. So that's the picture right there. Yeah, yeah.
With
I
that long hair.
yes, yeah. It looks good. You know, it looks good. Especially like I said, I that's what I like. When you have locks, you got to maintain them. That's the thing. You got to maintain them, and that looks good right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So, are you in a relationship?
No, not currently.
Mm. Oh, so are you dating or you just have a companion like you just have a
I have a few suitors.
suitors and food suitors. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with testing the waters.
I need to get this together, that mental, because
Hmm.
that fighter has to
Yeah,
let go before I can allow.
yeah. You got to continue to work on yourself. We're all a work in progress. Believe me.
Hmm.
Okay. Mhm.
But we'll talk about that on another interview.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, you're gonna be back. Like I said, I'm gonna be on this platform. I'm gonna, try to see how far this YouTube will take me, and you're gonna, I'm hopefully you'll be along for the ride. No worries.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
Again, thank you for allowing me
Hmm.
to address this on this platform.
Hmm.
Today is starting anew. We won't
Absolutely.
address this anymore. If y'all have
Yes.
issues,
Yes.
come to me. Let's talk about it. If not, let's
Hmm.
move on.
Exactly. That's the goal. That's the goal. Moving on. That's part of the progress. Like I said, let's start a new journey. Wipe the slate clean. This is a start right here. This is where it starts.
Please go before we log off. Please go support Don't Get Effed Up and POA and Black Man's Guide to Graduate School. Please support me. I'm an entrepreneur outside of my career. This is something new that I'm stepping into. Please, 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 I would love your support.
Yes, we're gonna support. We're gonna definitely gonna support Rollon Rebel. Yes, absolutely. All right, but like I said, don't forget to stay behind.
Okay.
All right. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for staying. For I told you it's going to be a bit of a long live, but actually it's actually not as long as I expected it to be. So like I said, we're gonna have the time, next time we're gonna chop it up a little bit further, because like I said, when I have these guests on, some of these guests are gonna return. So it's not like it's a one and done thing. Some of these guests are gonna return for different reasons, for different purposes, and I'm okay with that. That's something I want to do. I want to continue to support as much as they support me. I want to continue for this channel to grow for as much as it's going to grow. Just based on how God leads it. Wherever God wants it to go, wherever it's designed. It's all about its divine purpose. So I'm here for it. But thank you so much for staying through this live. I hope you catch the replay. And I appreciate Tony for coming on. Like I said, for sharing his journey, sharing his backstory, sharing his life as a person with a disability, and just addressing some of the some negative accounts that he's had throughout the years. And I'm hoping that he will continue to grow and be able to use his platform and continue to use his voice a little bit more, continue to use um, his ability to interact on a professional level as well, to help him, to guide him through this process of growth, this process of change. So I just wish him all abundant blessings as he continues on this path towards atonement, towards redemption. We all need it sometimes. Sometimes um, we tend to need second, third, fourth chances, but those chances are earned. So I'm hoping that um, he'll be able to be received well by some people. And like I said, there's some people that may not receive him as well, but that's fine too. 'Cause not everyone is meant to be a part of your journey. Not everyone is meant to be in your life for a certain season. Some people in your lives for a reason and for a season. So I just, appreciate him using my platform to be able to discuss a lot of things and clear the air on a lot of things and address a lot of things. And so um, I am looking forward to my next interview this coming Friday on the 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be having a one on one with actor and model Daryl DC Chambers. I put the flyer up, so make sure you look out for that. I'm looking forward to that. He's been in so many different projects, whether on Tubi, different um, commercials, advertisements. He's been on the Country Wayne skits. For those who are familiar with Country Wayne, he's just been in many spaces and places. So for him to make the time to talk to me in my piece of platform is an honor, and I'm privileged to have him over. So please make sure you check us out on Friday afternoon. All right. But in the meantime,